in with the Kiss New York Top Brow Fine Precision Brow Pencil, and this is what it looks like. It just has a spoolie on one end, and on the other end it has the actual pencil. This is my current favorite product that I use for my eyebrows. So what you want to do is use the spoolie end to brush up your brows and kind of brush them into place. I get my eyebrows threaded, and for me, getting my eyebrows threaded and then filling them in is way easier. I just like the look of a threaded brow more than a wax brow. It's totally personal preference, guys, but that's just what I like to do. So my eyebrow hairs go up in the front and then they kind of just straighten out. So I just brush my eyebrow hairs up with the spoolie and then brush them over into the shape that I'm going to create. So then after that, I'm going to take the pencil and I'm going to very lightly kind of flick the pencil in the beginning of my brows up. Super light. I don't put too much product in the beginning of my brows. I just like to mimic brow hairs, and I just spoolie them. I just blend them in. So then I lightly take the brow pencil and I don't start in the very beginning. As you can see, I'm starting after the brow hairs kind of go up. So I'm starting around this point right here, and I'm lightly just drawing a line underneath that brow. And you want to just make sure your brows are as close as possible. If you don't get them exactly the same, don't worry about it, guys. I know this phrase is totally overused on YouTube, but it's absolutely true that brows are sisters and not twins. So they're meant to look similar and not exactly the same. As long as you have a similar shape, and it's not, you know, that big of a deal if, you know, one is a little more arched than the other. So what you're going to do is, once you get to the arch of your brow, you're gonna then just drag it down. Again, you're not putting too much pressure on the pencil itself. You're just lightly doing it. And as you can see, I already created a pretty clean shape. I like to just lightly fill it in. I don't mind that sometimes there's like gaps, because natural brow hairs have gaps in them, so I don't mind. And what I like about this brow pencil is you can actually make it go really light, or you can, the more pressure you apply, you can make it really dark. So that's why I really like this eyebrow pencil. You just have a lot more control over the overall product and how your eyebrows turn out. As you go along, you're just gonna brush through the hairs, making sure everything is nice and blended. Now for the top of the brow, I don't really go too hard as far as pressure on the brow. So what I like to do is I kind of brush them down just a little bit, not too much, just so I can kind of see the shape that I want. And I go right where my eyebrow hair kind of just starts to go straight, and I just lightly fill it in. I make a lot of faces when I do my eyebrows, because I feel like depending on what facial expression I make, that's how that's how I can get a good angle on my brows. So I kind of make an angry face when I get to the arch on the top of my brow, because I feel like that is easier for me to kind of make a really precise arch. So I make like, I screw my face up like this, and I just kind of drag it along. So now that we have the basic shape of the brow, as you can see, the brow is pretty similar in shape. Not perfect, not exactly the same, but pretty similar, which is good enough for me. So what I like to do is I like to just fill in wherever needs to be filled in. I apply a little bit more pressure towards the end of my brow, because I just like when the arch to the tail is really, you know, sharp and defined like this is. So it's like, you know, I just like the way that looks. So now that I have the shape of my brows, it's time to clean these bad boys up. So what I use for concealer is the Above and Beyond Full Coverage Concealer by NYX, and I use the color 07 Tan. This color is actually similar to my skin tone. I don't use a lighter concealer under my brows. For me personally, I just feel like it's harder to blend out. So I don't use a concealer that's lighter than my skin tone. I just use one that's pretty close to my skin tone. So again, I'm using the NYX Above and Beyond Full Coverage Concealer. It comes in a little jar like this. I've had this for when I say forever, I've had this for years. Like, and I know makeup gets old, but if it ain't run out, which it almost actually is running out, I'm gonna keep using it. But anyway, so I take this concealer brush right here. It's a flat concealer brush. I got this from a Sonia Kashuk set, like a holiday set. So this is what I've been using for quite some time. So what you want to do with concealer is you don't want to go overboard. I usually take literally just a little bit and I rub the excess off on the sides. So what I do is I just start from the beginning. Well, not really the very beginning, but more so right around here. And I just start to go against the eyebrow that I just filled in. And here I go making my screwed up face again. But yeah. And you don't want to use too much product, because again, it's just going to be way harder to blend out. You can just use a little bit and then add more if you need it, but it's way better to use less product and then blend it out than to just put too much and then you're screwed blending away for like 50 hours. So for the top of the brow, I know a lot of people don't like to clean up the top of the brow. I do. I just think it gives myself a more precise, more sharp look. So I like to start again at the same, pretty much the same point, and I just go with the shape that I created, just kind of cleaning it up. Sharper than a mother. So yeah, I think the arch on this brow is a little high, so I'm just going to kind of chop it down a little. So once you have your concealer and all of that done, I like to just go in with kind of like a fluffy brush, and I just like to kind of just blend it out just like this, just so that you don't have any awkward lines or you don't have any concealer marks showing. And I like to do this because since I'm using a concealer that is my skin tone, it just looks a lot more natural once it's all blended into the skin. So we're not done yet. So then what I like to do is I like to set my brows, because sometimes my eyebrow hairs are a bit unruly since my eyebrow hairs are kind of curly. So what I use for that is the NYC Showtime Lash and Brow Clear Mascara. And it looks like these. Of course, when you first get it, it's clear, but because I've been running it through my brow hairs, it tinted the actual product, but it still works perfectly. That's just what happens. So I like to brush the product through my brows in the way that I want them to kind of just set and stay for the day. And this just gives my brow a really nice polished look. I feel like it makes a huge difference on the way my brow looks. It just kind of softens the overall pencil, and it just makes it look really, really nice and neat. So there you have it, guys. This is my updated brow routine. I hope you enjoyed it. I think that they look pretty similar. Again, eyebrows are meant to be sisters and not twins. Yeah, that's it, and I hope you enjoyed. Stay tuned for my next video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.